Listen to the tone of my voice.
Still nothing.
Well, the fantasy gods have put you on the naughty list.
Wait, why?
And the kicker is, they decided to bring out a legend out of retirement for a call of this magnitude.
Booger.
Hey, that's Mr. McSugar to you. Now, going through a list of sins this long may take a while, and frankly, I don't care if you have the time or...
I feel fame.
Jay-Z. Hey, Jay-Z. Hello, Jay-Z. I'm a representative here on behalf of Booger McSugar because you fainted during your phone call.
Wait, I fainted?
Like a baby. Now, I have brought you here to finish with the atonement for your sins.
Like what?
Well, allow me to get my kettle going here for this atonement teabagging that you're about to receive while I read here from the ancient scrolls.
Gross.
First, the fantasy gods should disappear like LeBron's hairline. Now that's just disrespectful to the king. This stunt the fantasy gods have pulled is worse than the stunt at the end of Hot Rod. Hot Rod's a great film. Shame. And oh, this one's my favorite. The fantasy gods suck serious butt. Real mature. Real mature. I mean, how old are you? 12?
What do you want?
Well, I mean, I have a list.
A list?
A list of players surely to be missed, and my boss wants a naughty chum to pin on this.
What are you going on about?
Oh, okay. The first name on my list is Drew Lock.
Oh, nice. I like Drew Lock.
Drew Lock is now out with a shoulder injury.
Wait, what? Why?
You must atone for your sins, and this is the best course of punishment.
Well, my buddy Ryan will be bummed, but why would you pin an injury on me?
An injury? Just one? Oh, you fool. Next on the list is Tyrod Taylor. Okay, let's put a needle in this whole injury punishment thing. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. That's an interesting choice of words there. Tyrod Taylor is injured because a needle punctured his lung.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
You just probably destroyed the rest of this man's whole career.
All right, quit being a butt brain and punishing me with all these injuries.
Name calling, real mature. Butt brain? Wow, okay. 12 years old again, are we? Well, let's do something real mature here. I don't like the 49ers backfield. Oh, the 49ers, your team? Mostert, Coleman, both out weeks, leg injuries.
You can't do this to me.
Oh, but I can. You spoke ill of the fantasy gods. This seems unfair. Unfair? Unfair, my boy. You don't know unfair. Nick Bosa, for the year. Solomon Thomas, for the year. Now, I know this has been a lot, but there is some icing to this punishment pie. Now, word on the street is that you picked Saquon to be the #1 running back. Hot take.
Oh, no.
Hot take. We're gonna change that.
Oh, Chad, I'm sorry.
Saquon Barkley, ACL tear, done for the year.
What? What? We have destroyed you.
Jay-Z. Hey.
Booger?
Who? No. Steven.
Booger McSugar wears a headset and he's punishing me for my sins.
Hey, guys, give me just a second. Hang on. Jordan, no. I'm playing Destiny with the boys. I'm not Booger McSugar.
Shoot. Now.
Alright, boys, let's whoop this raid's butt.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Week 2 matchup review. I got Buster back again with me for Week 2. Going to go through the matchups, help me out, for another round of Boosty's Matchup Blitz. Alright, you already know how this goes through. Boosty's just going to ask me some questions, and I'm going to talk about the matchups. What I saw, what he saw, we're just going to go through it like that. Alright, so Boosty, whenever you're ready, start us off.
Yeah, no, I'll be the one asking the questions, not giving the answers today, seeing as how I'm in last place in our league. So we'll start with that.
It's still early.
First matchup, we got Dalton's Darth Prescott scoring 180.20, which is the highest score in the league. And Dalton is currently first place, toppling McClossum's good performance, Cooper to top at 161. Man, Aaron Jones putting up 43 points. Jordan, is that going to keep up?
No. Because Aaron Jones did the exact same thing last year. If Aaron Jones is heavily involved in the Packers' passing offensive game plan, then he's going to put up 40 points or 35 points or somewhere around there, especially if he gets a couple scores, which he did. Last year, he did the same thing where he would randomly have like a 40-point performance. I remember he did it last year against the Cowboys, but it wasn't because of his rushing dominance. It was because he had almost 100 yards receiving and a couple receiving touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is still the focal point of the offense. He loves to spread the ball around, so I don't think he's going to be able to continue putting up 30, 40 points, but he will definitely have those random blips where he's going to go off like he did Week 2.
And McClossum, I have to feel bad for him because if he would have played any other person in the league, he would have won. So what surprises you from McClossum's awesome performance here? Still putting up 160, but getting the L.
I think the biggest surprise was everybody on McClossum's team was in the double digits. There wasn't a single person that didn't score, except for I think he had 2 running backs that were injured or didn't play at all. Week 2.
Even on his bench, man, Devonta Freeman, who didn't play that week, literally every single person on McClossum's team did double digits.
Which that's crazy. I mean, and if that happens, you go, yep, I expect a dub out of this. Easy. Like, there's no way anybody should compete with me. But on the other end, you're not expecting Dak to have 40 points, Aaron Jones to have 43 points. I mean, if you don't have somebody that's also putting up 40, doesn't matter your team's performance, you're not going to be able to keep up with them.
Dang. Well, there it is.
That's crazy.
Way to go, Dalton.
Yeah.
Oof.
Go Dak. Go Aaron Jones.
Yeah. We'll see if that keeps up into Week 3. So next matchup, we got Paul's Quarantine at 93.90 over Steven's Under Lock and Key at 80. Steven's team, I was looking at it, makes sense on paper. What do you think is going on here in Week 2 at only 80 points racked up?
It does make sense on paper. It's actually not a bad team. He's had to deal with some injuries already with Kittle, and then he had the unfortunate situation with James White this past weekend where he was supposed to play last second. Unfortunately, he had a family tragedy with his father passing away, so that put him gave him a goose egg, which, I mean, if he was only 14 points down, and that's 70 yards and a touchdown out of a running back. So I just think he's had an unfortunate couple weeks, kind of like you, just where the team just isn't performing the way it should, and just coming up short in these close matchups. So I think his team will turn it around. He'll be able to have some good performances out of his guys, and I expect Steven to get some W's here in the next couple weeks.
And looking at Paul's team, I see Mostert injured, Michael Thomas injured. Paul's bringing out the victory in Week 2, but do you think Paul is getting sweaty over there from injuries?
I would be a little bit, especially for the next few weeks. I know Mike Thomas and Mostert aren't going to be out for the longest period of time. They're not going to be out for a full season like Barkley, or I think like McCaffrey, where he's going to be out for a little bit too. So I think Mostert's going to be out for about 2 to 3 weeks. Michael Thomas should be back here in the next 2 or 3 weeks too. So it's just going to be able to replace those guys and hopefully have good fantasy performances for the next, until about week 5. And hopefully those two come back healthy and can perform for him. So as long as he can get a W or 2 in the next couple weeks, he'll be doing just fine. He'll be able to wipe that sweat off easy peasy.
All right, we'll see. So next up, Tucker's Osh. Here we Gronk again. 119.12 over Keith's Captain Munderpants at 92. Now Tucker's namesake, Gronk, 0 points. And by the time we recorded this video, Tucker has since traded Gronk away. What do you see in the future for Gronk, or what's going on with the 0 points?
I think in general, the Bucs offense is kind of just having some issues. And Gronk being out of the league for a year, coming back, so we got week 3 coming up, week 4. I think after a month, they'll start to work those kinks out a little bit. So you'll see Gronk get some more targets. At the time we're recording this video, I did see a post from Gronk
say, hey, I'm a blocking tight end, so 0 targets is no problem for me. I came here to block. So 4 targets on the year is already way more than I expected. I don't know what's gonna hold next for Gronk, but I think we'll see a different Gronk, especially after the first month of the season.
Maybe from injuries, but I see Keith's bench is making me a little nervous and a little bit scary. Do you think Keith should be worried?
I'd be a little worried if I was Keith, at the amount of injuries, because I definitely know I'm in a similar boat as you, buddy. So I would make I know I'm looking to make some changes here at the waiver wire pickup for week 2, or going into week 3, I mean. And so I think he should do the same. One thing that I will say Keith has going for him is he has 3 number 1 running backs. He has David Johnson, Joe Mixon, and there's somebody else that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But he has 3 starting running backs. I know that for sure. He's set.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. That's right. Josh Jacobs. How could I forget the man, Josh Jacobs? 3TD Josh Jacobs from week 1. I think Keith has those 3 running backs will definitely help, and a lot of his bench is wide receiver depth, and I know he has a little bit of a quarterback roulette going at the moment, but if I was Keith, I'd look to make some waiver wire additions like I'm going to be doing for week 3.
Right. People are shuffling and buffling out there. Don't know what I'm trying to say.
Stumbling, bumbling, rumbling.
Yeah, like I did with that sentence. Next up, Jordan's Buchanan, what I'm feeling, 114 over Buffalo's the Lazard King at 87. Kamara did great for you, 34 points, but you just alluded to you're nervous about your bench.
Yes, very much so. Week 2 was just riddled with injuries for everybody, especially my poor 49ers. The whole defense is basically gone. So yeah, I'm going to be making some changes for the waiver wire this week for week 3. I know Jalen Reagor's out. I got to get rid of him. Tevin Coleman's going to be injured for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Jerry Jeudy has some hurt ribs. Philip Lindsay's going to be out I know he was out week 2. He's probably going to be out week 3. Hopefully he'll be back by week 4 or 5. My bench is just basically it's a hospital bay right now. It's a sick bay. Just come on in. The nurses and doctors will take care of you until you're ready to enter the starting lineup again.
So Buffalo, between Patty Mahomes and Zeke, gets 50 points, and then the rest of the team only puts up 36. You think this was just an unlucky week for an otherwise what looks like a good team?
Yes, I think it was just an unlucky week. Mahomes and Zeke did go off for him. And I mean, if it wasn't for Kamara's performance, it was Monday night, I believe, where I only needed 6 points out of him, but he gave me 33 because that's my boy. Thank you, Kamara. But other than that, I think my kicker, Young Ho Koo, was the next top scorer for my team. It was just it was just one of those weeks where thankfully I had one guy that went off and was able to outproduce his 2 studs that went off, and it was just a week where his guys didn't live up to their matchup hype, their projections, and thankfully Kamara quadrupled his.
Next up, we got Ahar's Wuhan Bats at 144. Taking out Chad's Batquan and Dobbins at 91. Now, before going out, Christian McCaffrey put up 23 points, which should wave a little flag. Ouch! Number 1 fantasy person from last year is currently out for at least a while. But in addition, on Ahar's team, we've got this Higbee tight end going off 26 points. Is this a surprise? This name seems to come out of the ether for me.
It's a surprise. Tyler Higbee, so he did put up some numbers towards the end of last year. I believe they had a tight end on the Rams, number 81. I do not remember his name. I just remember he was number 81. He got hurt. Higbee stepped in, and he did a really good job towards the end of last year. Now, the thing that I don't like about Tyler Higbee is that he receives his passes from Jared Goff, and I personally despise Jared Goff. It's on the same level as Kirk Cousins for me. Do not like him either. And the Rams wide receivers, they are a lot of short, speedy, shifty kind of guys. In Sean McVay's offense, it's built around those kind of speedy, short wide receivers. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. They had Brandon Cooks last year. So if you notice, Higbee got all of his points through touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns. Just like how Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns week 1. Higbee's going to get the ball a lot of targets around the goal line when those bigger bodies work out better for Jared Goff to be able just to squeeze the ball in there. He can wrap up and protect his body and the ball.
And Chad's doing a lot of trading. He's proposed to me. I know he's doing some work with McCloskey. Do you think Chad's on the up here at the close of week 2?
I I feel so bad for Chad, having lost Saquon completely for the entire year. I'm sorry, buddy. You only got one really subpar performance out of him, and then he's gone. So I think it's good to see Chad making those moves, because he's going to need to make some moves if he's going to get back into the hunt, especially losing his first 2 games. So I like what I see out of him. Hopefully the moves will be able to pay off, and he'll be able to get himself into the win column and get a streak going for him.
Yeah. All right, last matchup. Nate's premium team dunking on me, 125 points over Brady's Tampa Bay's at 75.78. I'm last place after week 2, lowest points for. In fact, Dalton has double the amount of points I've put up for the season. Besides making a terrible choice and having Minshew do 24 points on the bench and Fournette doing 26 points on the bench, Jordan, how else have I immensely screwed myself here in week 2?
Well, I will say that you put a lot of trust in the Tampa Bay Bucks.
I did.
Just unfortunately, you didn't pick the correct one with Fournette, because you picked Brady, Scotty Miller, and Mike Evans. Mike Evans did great. He did great too. But hopefully, you would have started Fournette and Mike Evans, and Scotty and Brady would have found themselves on the bench. That was the only thing that really caught my eye, was mostly the start of Scotty Miller, and then also starting Brady over Minshew after Minshew went off week 1. But I understand it's still early, and Minshew has been at least somewhat inconsistent, right? He's been inconsistent. He can have those games where he does 20, 25 points, but then he can not even break the double digits. So I saw that there. The other thing that I want you to remember is you have Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry is a freaking beast. He's the man, King Henry the 5th or the 7th, whatever he wants to go by. But either way, he always is a slow starter, so he hasn't really done anything for you yet. But remember, you're going to get those 2-3 touchdown beast kind of days out of Derrick Henry for the future.
That's the hope. That's the hope. Teams seem to have clamped down on him so far, but I'm hoping my 2-0 Titans can get King Henry some wide open spaces.
Oh, they'll feed him. Also remember that you finished the year with the 4th lowest point total, and you had the best record. So points scored does not mean anything. I also had the 2nd most points scored in a year and didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I've never been known for my points for. Okay, I've only been known for my record. So.
That defense. Defense.
So we got Nate's premium team over here. Kyler Murray still doing some work. But I happen to notice this Gesicki guy, tight end, going for 23 points, while Austin Hooper gets 3 points. So Nathan's bench, Duncan. Who is this Gesicki guy?
Mike Gesicki, the former Penn State alum, he's just kind of flies under the radar since he's been on the Miami Dolphins. He wasn't one of the big-name tight end prospects when he came out of the draft. Since he got into the league, building a solid reputation and relationship with Fitzmagic down there. Fitzmagic loves him, obviously, by the amount of targets that he's seeing. Also, the Miami Dolphins, there's going to be some targets to go around, but Gesicki has definitely benefited from all those extra targets and really show what he could do, especially because he is a face that Fitzmagic likes to find in the red zone. So if I was Nate, I would not rely on Austin Hooper and the Cleveland Browns offense and Baker Mayfield finding the ball, or Baker Mayfield throwing the ball into Austin Hooper's hands. And instead, I would start Mike Gesicki. Yeah, I'd go with that, because he did the same thing last year, Nathan did, where he would consistently start Austin Hooper over George Kittle. So, Nathan, just either adopt the 2 tight end system, or I think you should take a good look at your bench, see the quality of guys you have on there, and maybe think about putting them in your starting lineup.
Well, McCaustin pulled off a win with a 2 tight end play in week 1, so Nate, Preem, it can be done.
It can be done. In today's NFL, it can be done.
That's it for this week.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in for the week 2 matchups and week 2 after the weekend, everybody. Buster, thank you for going through the matchups with me. I appreciate it, sir. And we'll see you all for week 3. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Come on, please stop today, so I can film this scene. Oh yay!
The mic settings. Didn't hear me breathing into the microphone like a kid wanting some candy.